Thank you. Good evening. How are we doing? You might remember me from 15 minutes ago when I stood here. I'm here tonight to talk to you about image. Just by show of hands, how many of you would say that you may have an image issue on campus with Greek organizations? I appreciate you being so truthful and honest. Well, I think that nationally, obviously, there's been a lot of attention on us, and on our respective campuses, we've also had a lot of attention on us. And so I think it's time for us to take a page out of the playbooks of the companies that spend millions of dollars researching their brand and image. Do you guys have millions of dollars in your council and IFC budgets to produce the image and branding that you want on your campuses? Wow, some of you? Okay. We need to set up a transfer. In 1980, this will be a flashback for just a few advisors in the room. Most of you weren't even born yet. But in 1980, one of the United States retailers became the world's superpower in retailer. Does anyone know what company that is? 1980. Any ideas? Shout it out. Walmart is not the right answer. The right answer was Sears, Roebuck and Company. Sears thought it had it down. They had this really cool catalog that people would order from, and people, even I as a young guy, would circle what I wanted around the holidays and show it to my parents, and people ordered from the catalog. And Sears was doing so well for itself that they thought, my gosh, we will always be the world's biggest retailer. We're going to go ahead and build the world's tallest building. And they did that in a city called Chicago. Anyone from Chicago? What is the Sears Tower now called? From locals, yes. But its real name is Willis Tower. So Sears Tower is no more. Why? Because they got stagnant. They didn't change. They didn't look at the market around them. What was happening was companies started to take the products that were in catalogs and put them in stores. People could go quickly buy them. There was no Amazon that brought it to you in 2 days. So what was the second largest retailer to emerge in the United States after Sears? Any guesses? JCPenney, any others? The answer is Kmart. By the mid to late 1980s, Kmart was the world's biggest retailer. They had stores in China, Japan, all over the United States. Now Kmart is barely on the scale in the top 10 of box stores. Would you all agree? It's because, like Sears, Kmart became complacent. They said, we have this cornered. We know exactly what we're doing, and we're just going to keep doing the same thing. They didn't invest in the research or listen to their customers to figure out that they needed to change. And so, who then emerged and is still now the world's largest retail chain? Walmart, yes. Now, Walmart is interesting because they've been able to hold on to this place longer than the both two, and why is that? It's because, and some people don't like them for this, but Walmart has a steadfast rule to hold on to its values. It will not do anything that is against its values, which is to offer lower prices and to make sure that they can be the cheapest in the market. And so they're committed to that. And some people will say, oh, well, you know, they don't pay their employees enough and they don't do these other things. But for them, it's about holding and staying committed to their values. And so far, it's working pretty well for them. But who is on their heels right now? Target. Some of you mentioned Amazon. There are others, right? And that's because the big box changes are quickly going away. Well, why is that? Let me show you what is, I think, the definition of branding and knowing your image in today's society. It's not about getting someone to choose you over the competition, but it is about getting that man or woman to see you as the only choice or the best option. Now think about yourselves in relation to all the other student organizations on campus. Are you the best choice? Are you the only choice? Have you marketed yourself in a way that helps people to understand that they cannot get an experience like yours from any other organization on campus, no matter how hard they try? You are the organization of choice at your university. Your fraternities and sororities that are part of your councils and your IFCs, no one can compete with them. Yet we don't do a very good job of holding true to our values or selling that information to our potential members, or in this conversation, our customers, right? The potential customers that we have that could be coming into our organizations. So we have to make a decision if we're going to have a brand that stands the test of time. Because there are a lot of people out there trying to erode our brand, trying to say that we don't live up to our values, that we cost too much, that you no longer get the kind of experience that we talk about anymore. And in order to do that, we have to rethink about who we are and how we communicate our experience. And you really have two options to do that. You can be transactional. Transactional basically means that you're doing the same thing that you've always done and expecting a different result. Albert Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. So setting up socials and financial transactions and things that we think are going to persuade people to act. That's exactly what Sears did. That's exactly what Kmart has done. And recently in Canada, that's exactly what Target did. And they have learned a hard lesson and have now had to close every Target store in Canada. So we can be transactional with our councils and our IFCs and our member organizations, or we can be authentic. Authentic is that type of leader who holds his or her beliefs and shows them to the world. So here's a question to ponder. You have a potential new member. He's heard the bad things about Greek organizations, but he's trying to give you a shot. So one night he pulls up Twitter and he's looking at Twitter and he notices some names that are familiar. He saw you maybe at a meet and greet or at a mixer type thing where you were meeting other fraternity and sorority members. And up there it says TFM. And it has a list of all of your names right next to it. Do you think that that potential new member looks at that and goes, wow, these individuals, they say one thing, but they're doing this? Or do you think that he realizes that we're just laughing at ourselves? Imagine if later tonight, everyone in this room unfollowed TFM. That would send a huge signal to our respective communities that we are going to stand for a better image. That we are going to be authentic to who we want to be. Because for us to be successful in the future, we have to be authentic. There's no longer a choice. The reality is that in 7 to 8 years, populations across the United States going to colleges and universities are going to drop. We know that because we can look at enrollment numbers from people who are currently in middle and high school. So that means there's going to be fewer people going to your college and your university. Fewer people to join student clubs and athletics and club sports and Greek organizations. So in order for us to get our message out and to tell everybody that we're not only the best organization on campus, we are the only one that you should look at because of the full breadth of activities that we do. So for us to be authentic, we need to do these things. We need to have unique positioning about who we are in the student newspaper and the things that we're doing on campus. We need to have a key message that's the same, that our member organizations that are part of our councils and our IFCs can take back to their chapter. We need to create a strategy. What is our goal this year? Is our goal to make sure that no member of our Greek organization is following TFM? Because that alone will signal to potential new members, parents, and your administration that you are being authentic, that you're saying what you're going to do. You need a name and a logo that's consistent and recognizable, and not a photocopy that's been copied over 1,800 times. You need to define the agenda. If you're the president in this room, you don't have enough time to put together a strategic plan. What you do have enough time is say, this is my agenda for this year. I am going to accomplish these two things, and be focused. Be like a dog on a bone on those things. Do not let go. When I took over as the new president of Sigma Tau Gamma, I did say that I was going to visit all 68 collegiate chapters in one academic year. So far, I've hit 28 schools. I have 48 to go, or 46 to go. Some number, I can't do math this late, please forgive me. But I have a lot to get to still. But I believe I'm going to do it. Why? Because I said I'm going to do it. So that's part of my agenda. Have some boilerplate language at the bottom of your emails and press releases, and look no further than the NIC and NPC's own emails or own press releases. They have it there at the bottom of every single thing that they send out. Make sure your web presence is updated. It seems simple and easy, but most of you, if we were to go look now, have stuff from last semester, last quarter, the wrong people to contact. That, again, does not send the right image for people. Manage your brand, make sure you're involving your stakeholders, and finally, once you've done those things, free the people. Go out and trust the people who are working with your councils and your IFCs to do the good work and do the agenda you're trying to do. If you do some of these things, you will be better at managing your image and your brand. Why? Because this is what major companies do. They have entire departments of people who focus on this all day long. So if you just do a couple of these things, you'll be able to advance your organization further than probably the last two councils before you. So I have two freebie things for you here. First, I want to talk about Starbucks. We're going to learn a quick little lesson from Starbucks. How many of you here like Starbucks? A good show of hands. Okay. You may not know this, but Starbucks actually trained you to be their customer. So if you go up to the line and you say, I'd like to order this or this, if you order it incorrectly, they will shout it out loud to the barista. That is part of their company manual. That's how they train their employees. And until recently, you may remember that they used to write your name on the cup. Well, what they realized through some research is they weren't selling enough Starbucks. So they started yelling out the order at the very end again. Why did they do that? Well, so people like us would look and see what Susie or Jim or Bob are ordering and go, oh, that doesn't look so bad. Maybe I'll try it. The message here is that we need to think of our potential new members, our members who are already initiated, as customers, potential customers. We need to train them so that they can go through our system and feel comfortable. So taking a page out of Starbucks membership or manual for employees will help you understand that just little things that we do can make a huge impact. The next example I have for you is the Walt Disney Company. Do we have people who like Disney in here? A few, show of hands. So I got the opportunity to attend a Disney Institute training, and they talked about how they answer questions. And so this little bit of information is about answering questions. So this mom came up to a Disney employee at the park and said, "Sir, what time is the parade?" Now, he had a choice. He could say, "Ma'am, it's at 3 o'clock. There was a sign in the front. Didn't you read the sign?" Or he could say what he has been trained to say, "Ma'am, the parade's at 3, but I know that's not what you're asking. What you really want to know is, where is the best place to sit?" Well, let me tell you, the best place is right in front of the malt shop, across from the ice cream cart. You get the air conditioning flowing out of the shop, grab an ice cream, you sit there, your kids are happy, they're in the best spot to watch the parade. You will be a super mom by the end of that parade. Now, which way do we usually answer questions when we're asked? We have a choice. We can be authentic and answer the question that people are really asking, or we can be transactional. We have a choice every day we go onto campus about how we're going to wear our letters, what we're going to say, and what we're going to do. All of this stuff is stuff that companies have spent millions researching. It's there for us to learn from and to use on our campuses. We have an obligation, if we want to be here in the future, to manage our image, manage our brand, because it is everything. Thank you.